The people from SCP, they will provide the support to your subcontractors that you need.
This is From Paint to Purpose, a podcast by FCP Services, where we believe people drive growth, exploring topics related to company culture, leadership, and construction industry insights. Now your host.
Welcome everybody. Today we have guest Steve Bentley from SB Paintings. Hi Steve, how are you?
Very well, ma'am. Thank you for asking.
So tell us about yourself.
I'm 61 years old. I currently live in Kentucky, Winchester. I recently relocated from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm a subcontractor for FCP and have been for, I think, 5 or 6 years.
Oh, nice. 5 or 6 years. So you've been with us for a while. What
Yes,
can
ma'am.
you tell us about becoming a subcontractor?
I looked into this through my pastor where I go to church at, to be honest with you. He was contacted by, Ronnie Martin through, I think it was Home Advisor, because he had a little job that he needed done in Louisa, Kentucky, just a touch up around 12 light fixtures. And I gave him a price to do it. And I haven't looked back since. I've been covered up, busy, more work than I can take care of.
How did you initially start your subcontractor business?
I've been self-employed for many years. I've been around construction. My dad was a real estate developer. I have built apartments. I started building apartment buildings when I was 16, 17 years old, up until my mid-20s. And it just kind of naturally spun off from that.
Tell us more about why you decided to be like, hey, this is a path I want to take and I want to start my own business.
Well, I worked out of the millwright union for many, many years. And I got tired of somebody telling me where to go to, when to be there. So I kind of like the independence of being able to come and go as I please and to pick and choose the jobs that I do. If I want to take a day off, I spend a few days moving. So if I need to take time off, I have the ability to take time off.
So I'm assuming work-life balance is important to you?
Oh, it's very, very important, because if you don't have some personal time, you will implode, explode, and it'll just become overwhelmed by it, and you'll quit. That's just the long and short of that.
Has there ever been a time where you were too overwhelmed, where you're like, I don't want to have my own business anymore?
Which time?
So there has been plenty. Would you care to tell us one of those stories?
Oh, Lord. Let's see. Okay, here's a good one. Burgaw, North Carolina, painting a Walmart. Because my people are scattered from all over, and I had 2 guys traveling, and they had vehicle problems. And it just, they couldn't get it fixed. We were running behind, a lot of pressure. And I remember one day standing behind the Walmart going, I can't do this anymore. But then they showed up about 6 hours later, and it ended up being a successful project.
What is your company's mission?
The mission is to provide a quality service. That is my goal, is I want to have a quality job. I am very particular about my work. And what we do is we do commercial work, but at residential quality, interior quality. I'm very, very particular about what we do.
How do you extend that to the employees you hire?
What I like to do is I would like to walk the building after I say, okay, I show them what everybody's responsibility is, and once I take them there and they get into the job, we'll drop back and take a walk, and I'll explain, guys, this is not acceptable. This needs to be done this way. And we break out the blue tape, and we do the blue tape walk. And I show them, what's acceptable to me. And most of the times, if it's acceptable to me, it'll be acceptable to most customers.
So do you have clear expectations of what you want and what you expect from your employees?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Has there ever been a time where you struggled and they didn't get what you were trying to tell them?
Good example. Okay, caulking on a building. We'll drop back to our Burgaw project. caulking on the building. I explained to them how I wanted the lines ran on the concrete from the building to the concrete. I explained how I want it done. And I continuously walk all day long around the building and inspect the progress, the quality of the work. And I come around the building, and instead of coming out, I think it was supposed to be like 3/4 of an inch. The guy came out like an inch and a quarter, which has more material, more time, more money, and things like that. Things, and also too, things get lost in translation. I had some Spanish people work for me, and sometimes the language barrier can be quite the obstacle.
So, can you tell us some other obstacles that you come into contact with as a subcontractor?
Material deliveries, getting materials on the job site on time, that is crucial. We were doing a job in Matthews, North Carolina a couple years ago, and we're waiting on some roofing materials because I was taking care of the roofing on the job, and the roofing materials didn't show up, and we had a roof tore off, and that was a major thing. We had to get the tarps out, we had to put the felt paper down and cover everything up, and use temporary measures to ensure the hotel was safe.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. What has been your favorite project from all the projects you've done with FCP Services?
The hotels, not really. Well, okay, back to Matthews. The job at Matthews, it was a wonderful job. It went very smoothly. The hotel was a dream to work with. But as a rule, the exterior on the hotels, those have went well, and I've really enjoyed doing those because there's so many different aspects to them. It's not just painting, caulking. There's foundations we put in. There's concrete work. There's porte-cochees to be built from new foundations up. There's a lot of demolition. There's wood framing. There's almost every aspect of construction that is involved in doing the hotel renovations.
What do you consider to be a good project versus an excellent project?
How about this? On time, on budget. That's it. Yes, ma'am. When you a good project is when everything goes smoothly. An excellent project, if you refer back to I think it's on FCP's website, and you'll see a testimonial from Derek Prettle, who's a GM at a hotel we worked at. That's an excellent project, and that's evidence of it. When you have someone who works at the hotel who is willing to step up and speak on your behalf, that to me is an excellent project.
Were you part of that project?
Yes, ma'am. Like very
Nice.
well.
As a subcontractor, what are some hurdles that you overcame at the beginning of your career versus what you've learned now?
Estimating commercial work is completely different from residential work, and I did most apartment buildings and things like that, but I also had extensive background in construction in general. Excuse me, of large projects, and switching from from industrial residential to commercial, that's quite a swap. It's a totally different mindset from building. I built everything, like I say, from apartment buildings to powerhouses to steel mills, and now I can say, hey, I've built on hotels also. So it's been quite the learning curve.
Mm-hmm. Is there a project that you look forward to where you haven't done but would be interesting to do?
I'd love to do a ground up hotel.
Oh, okay.
If we're going to dream, let's dream big. The Lowe's, currently we're involved in getting ready to start on some Lowe's, the rental side of the Lowe's, some expansion for Lowe's. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. There's a project coming up in Michigan City, and I'm really looking forward to doing that because that's going to be a ground up project.
Nice. As a subcontractor, what do you look for in companies that you'll be potentially working with?
One thing that I've learned is try to get your subs that are close by, because when you have subs who have to travel an extensive distance, that can turn into a major issue. Being able to get people there when you need them, things pop up, things need to be changed, and when they're 3, 4, 5, 6 hours away, that can be quite the challenge. So I try to look for subs who present well, and of course have a good price, but I don't always believe in taking the lowest dollar, because sometimes when you get low ball, you get low ball work, and like I say, quality is what we strive to try to provide. We have to provide quality work, because that is what keeps your name out there. And that's what generates more business.
So, is that one of the reasons why you keep working with FCP?
I am held to a very, very high standard of quality of work by all the people I interact with. Mike Beard, Blake Yablonsky, Ronnie Martin, Jeff Johnson, all the people that I work with, they all hold me to a very high standard.
Tell me more about that. What are some of the expectations?
One of the big expectations is to start on time and get completed on time. That's very important, because that shows that you have responsibility. And for what we undertake, some of the jobs, you have to have an extreme level of responsibility. You can't go into it with like a lackadaisical, laissez-faire attitude. Oh, it'll take care of itself. No, it won't. Like I mentioned earlier, I walk the jobs continuously. I don't hole up in a room or in an office. I'm on site. I usually have, if we're doing something, I'll set up in a motel room at the job site, or in a trailer at the job site. But I'm continuously on there checking on what the people are doing, make sure they're working in a safe manner, because that's important. Can't have people get hurt, and keep an eye on people and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, not off chit chatting up on the roof or what have you. Make sure they maintain their focus. And I believe that if you show the people that you work with that you have focus, they too will have focus.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. How do you get your teams to focus?
By showing them what I want done, by explaining in depth. Off there like, okay, Bentley, we know you've told us before. I said, but if I don't tell you again, guess what? If you don't do it the way I want, you'll say, well, you never told me that.
That's very true. What advice can you give new subcontractors that are starting in this line of work?
Watch your money.
Okay. Can you tell us more about that?
It is very easy. It is very easy to get upside down on a job. I mean, let's say that let's say small jobs, $5,000-$10,000 jobs. It is quite easy to get upside down on a job like that. If you don't, make sure you have some money to get to the job. Make sure you have, just in case money, and always make sure your material, your quantities are correct, because that's a big killer. And know how much your team can produce. Once you work with people for a while, you know how much they can do. And then when you go bid your jobs, you can think to yourself, okay, I'm going to put so-and-so here. I'm going to have so-and-so doing this, because that's what they're good at doing.
From your point of view, what are some struggles that came up in the last year with COVID that didn't occur to you in previous years?
Getting people to work. And also, too, once you got people to work, they were wanting more money. They wanted hazard pay. One else called, I need hazard pay. Just more money in general. Also, too, is an issue with subcontractors. They had the same issues getting people to show up for work, to provide their services. Getting suppliers got backed up. We were doing a job at the Courtyard Marriott South Park in Charlotte, and we had issues getting the LED lights because of the COVID, because the lights came from China, and everything's backlogged.
What workarounds did you have for that?
I went with local. I reached out to the project manager Blake Yablonsky. We worked together, and he found a substitute that was closer by, so that worked out.
Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming the ability to pivot is important when it comes to something as severe as COVID and materials, right?
Yeah, flexibility, and to know what will work, what won't work, and what, like, back to the what is acceptable. You have that quality. The quality. You have to keep your quality up. You may find something cheaper, may not be as high quality. Don't go that route. That's my big advice. Don't go, the low quality route, because it'll turn back around to bite you.
Let's see. How do you stay informed of new industry trends?
Newsletters. I get stuff off of LinkedIn, and I get a lot of. I'm on so many different things through emails. I get emails on a lot of stuff to give me updates.
Let's see. Is there anything else you would like to talk about that we didn't discuss?
The people from SCP, they will provide the support to your subcontractors that you need. Especially on the painting side and on the construction side. There's some excellent people out there that are great resources that will really help you when you can call on them, and they will get back with you and provide the help and assistance that you'll need. Promise you on that.
Oh, we appreciate that feedback. And I would definitely tell the guys what you said. How can our audience connect with you?
Give me a call, 606-371-7426. I'm available 24/7, 7 days a week.
And then you also have a LinkedIn, right?
Yes.
Okay, so LinkedIn. Well, Steve, thank you for being a guest in our From Paint to Purpose podcast. We really appreciate your time.
You have a great day. God bless.
Thanks for listening. To learn more, visit fcpservices.com. Until next time, remember, people drive growth.